Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you very much, Tomek. My name is. I'm really happy to see you. Well, maybe not see you, but I'm happy you're here, that you've joined me at this webinar. So, as you already know, tonight we are going to talk about some expressions and idioms with animals. Well, as you can see, some pictures. This will be mainly pets or some farm animals like cat, cow, dog, goat, sheep. There's lots of very useful and interesting expressions in English based on names of these animals, and tonight I'd like to focus on that. I hope you can hear me, so I'll ask the same question as Tomek has asked you, because that's well, the basic thing, so that you can hear me actually. I hope you can. So I guess we can start. You have this chat box on the left, so I'm gonna ask you some questions along the way. So if you happen to know the answers, then please feel free to chat and to type your answers. Okay, so let's do it. Animal idioms. We'll start with well, a very nice animal, a cat. One of my favorite animals, actually. And there's plenty of idioms based on cats in the English language. The first idiom we're going to talk about is, well, quite simple, and I think it doesn't require any explanations, because it's as weak as a kitten. So, of course, it means weak or sickly. So somebody in a very poor health. That's a perfect expression to use when you want to describe a person who's not really feeling well. For example, the girl is as weak as a kitten and cannot carry the books. So as weak as a kitten. Next one is a bit more interesting. Cat gets one's tongue. So do you have any ideas what this expression means? Have you heard it or have you seen it anywhere? Cat gets one's tongue. Well, it's also quite interesting, but if cat gets somebody's tongue, it means that this person cannot really speak because they are extremely shy, or they feel embarrassed in different kinds of situations. So if a cat gets your tongue, then you're unable to talk, unable to speak. For example, the cat got the woman's tongue and she could not say anything at all. Okay, as Tomek said, I will switch off my camera now, just to prevent any possible problems that might happen on the line. But you'll keep on hearing me, I hope. So I'm switching off the camera. Okay, and let's proceed. Let's move on to the next idiom, a cat nap. I'm pretty sure that you know the word nap, which is, of course, well, a short sleep that we get in the afternoon, exactly. Quite useful and quite energizing thing, just to, well, charge your batteries before the evening. A short sleep taken during the day. So instead of saying just a nap, you can say a cat nap, because as we know, cats spend most of their time sleeping, at least during the day, and they have lots of fun at night. So, example of a sentence, I had a cat nap during the afternoon so that I would feel refreshed in the evening. So, yeah, 20 minutes in the afternoon sounds perfect. Okay, the next one is quite popular. A copycat. So, who is a copycat? If a person is a copycat, well, what does he or she do? Any ideas, anyone? Well, a copycat, as the name suggests, of course, copies other people, copies their work. Hello, can you hear me now? Is it okay now? Yeah? Okay, great. That's perfect news. Okay, so let's get back to not enough room to swing a cat. Well, basically, if you imagine swinging a cat, at first it might seem a bit brutal because I guess to grab a cat by its tail and swing it around. But please don't do that. This idiom just means that there's not very much space. So when you enter a place and you say something like, "Oh, there was not enough room to swing a cat in the small apartment," it simply means that the place is very small and there's not much space for anything, not for even swinging a cat. But yeah, let's not do it at home. Let's not swing any cats. Okay. There is more than one way to skin a cat. Another quite brutal at first. It means, yeah, let's not think about skinning a cat or any animal, but the tricky meaning of this idiom is simply that there is more than one way of actually doing something. For example, I knew that there was more than one way to skin a cat, so I did not worry about rules and time limit of my project. So nothing to do with literal skinning of any cats, just that there's more than one way of doing one thing. Okay, so let's move on. Well, this one seems a bit self-explanatory, I think. Put the cat among the pigeons. Well, how do you imagine? What happens if you put a cat among the pigeons? Any ideas? Pigeons and you throw a cat right among them. So not a beautiful sight, I guess. And as you imagine, this idiom simply means to cause trouble. For example, sending the unpopular supervisor to talk to the angry workers was like putting the cat among the pigeons. So something we shouldn't do. So cause trouble. Put the cat among the pigeons. Okay, the next one. One of my favorites, actually, grin like a Cheshire cat. So first of all, what's the meaning of the word grin? Who knows? What's a grin or to grin? Because it can be used as a verb or as a noun. Yeah, it's a kind of a smile, but what kind of a smile is it? Because it's a very specific way of smiling. And my second question is, well, where does the phrase Cheshire cat come from? What book, actually? Because this is a character from a literature, actually. I guess if you haven't read it, you must have heard the title of. So who can answer this question? Alice, yeah, Adventure in Wonderland, exactly. So it's Alice in Wonderland, classic English book. And Cheshire Cat was one of the characters in that book. And to grin, yeah, to grin means to smile from ear to ear, to show all your teeth when you smile. Yeah, so this is like very wide smile. So if you grin like a Cheshire cat, then you grin or smile really broadly, widely, right? For example, the little boy was grinning like a Cheshire cat when he entered the room. So the boy must have been really happy or satisfied with something when he was grinning like a Cheshire cat. So a very nice expression, especially if you're satisfied or really happy or excited about something. And another one, when the cat's away, the mice will play. So also quite self-explanatory, and there's no hidden meaning in this one. So basically, when the cat's away, the mice will have fun, right? So we can use it in situations in real life, like our supervisor or manager or boss is simply absent. Yeah, exactly. Then we, as the employees of some company, or feel more at ease, and we can do, well, things that we normally wouldn't do, right? So yeah, when a person with authority is absent, then those below him can do whatever they want. When the cat's away, the mice will play. So very, very nice expression. Okay. Yeah, when the cat's away, the mice will play, and when the teacher left the classroom, the students began to play. I remember school times. That's a perfect expression for schools, but not only, I guess. Okay. So that's about cat. Now let's move on to some dog idioms. Dog is supposed to be human's best friend, and I'm willing to agree with that. The first idiom is as crooked as a dog's hind leg. So we have two tricky words here, crooked and hind. Well, as we all know, dogs have four legs. Yeah. So which legs are hind legs? Because either have the front or the legs at the back. So yeah, exactly. So hind legs are the back legs, and crooked simply means not straight. You can have crooked teeth. Yeah. Then you have to wear some braces. So if someone is as crooked as a dog's hind leg, it means that a person is dishonest. So yeah, as crooked as a dog's hind leg. For example, the politician is as crooked as a dog's hind leg, and nobody likes him. So yeah, politicians are perfect examples to use this idiom when you talk about them. Well, most of them at least. As crooked as a dog's hind leg. Then, as a dog, well, also self-explanatory. If somebody is very, very sick, feeling really unwell, we can say that somebody's as sick as a dog. For example, my friend was as sick as a dog when he left the restaurant last night. So also if you eat some food which wasn't really fresh and you get some food poisoning, you can say that, oh, I was as sick as a dog after that meal. Okay. Another one is one's bark is worse than one's bite. So barking and biting basically are two things that dogs love doing, I guess. So what's the meaning of bark when you think about a dog? What does it mean, bark? Yeah, that's exactly the sound made by a dog. And Polish dogs, well, when we talk about the sound that they make, we say how. And do you know what sound actually English dogs make? How to, well, wow. It's not wow. Well, we can say wow when we are amazed. How? It's actually English dogs or American in English-speaking world. They woof woof. So that's a slight difference. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, exactly. They don't do how. They do woof woof. So if you see woof woof, then there's the sound of a dog. And yeah, biting, I guess we all know what it means. So if one's bark is worse than one's bite, it simply means that one's words are worse than one's actions. Yeah, so somebody can say a lot, threaten us, say that they will do something nasty, but in fact don't do it. They just say they will. Like some dogs just make lots of noise, but they are not dangerous at all. They wouldn't bite you. Never ever. For example, you should not worry about the secretary. Her bark is worse than her bite, and she's really a very nice person. Okay. Next one with barking as well. To bark up the wrong tree. So basically, imagine some hunting party with hunting dogs. Dogs are misled and they start barking up the wrong tree, especially if the animal that is being hunted escapes up the tree. Sometimes the dog might just bark up the wrong tree. So it simply means that we choose the wrong course of action, or we ask the wrong person, or we accuse somebody of doing something, but they didn't do it. Just like a hunting dog might make a mistake with trees when they are chasing an animal, to bark up the wrong tree. And for example, Hello, is it okay now? Can you hear me? Yes, I can see some okay messages. Great. Right, fantastic. Okay, so to call the dogs off, or call off the dogs. Then another one, dog eat dog. Quite a violent one, but it's kind of reflects our reality nowadays. Ready or willing to fight and hurt others to get what you want. For example, it is a dog-eat-dog world in our company. So if your surroundings are not very supportive but quite competitive, and somebody is willing to hurt you or do something nasty to you, just eat something, then it's a perfect idiom to use. Dog eat dog. And another nice one with tail, like one of the most important body parts when you think about a dog is the tail. So what can it mean to turn tail? Any ideas? If a dog turns tail, because yeah, of course, tail is the rear part of the body that the dogs love wagging so much when they are happy. But when they turn tail, the dogs are not happy and they are pretty afraid, and they simply run away. So to turn tail means to run away from trouble or danger, just like dog does. Yeah. So it kind of hides the tail behind or between its hind legs and looks for shelter. For example, we decided to turn tail and leave the restaurant before there was an argument. So that's the meaning of this idiom. Go to the dogs. Well, I guess we have exactly the same one in our language. Go to the dogs. So if something goes to the dogs, what happens to it? Anyone? Everything is going to the dogs. Of course, it deteriorates. It becomes, yeah, it's going worse, becoming bad. The quality of something deteriorates, falls down, lowers. Yeah, so go to the dogs. For example, many things in our city have gone to the dogs during the last 10 years. It's just an example. Hopefully, it's not true about our cities, the cities we live in. So yeah, let's keep it as an idiom, but it's exactly the same as in our language. Another one: let sleeping dogs lie. So the verb lie is a bit tricky here because, as you know, it has more than one meaning. So in this expression, lie is used in the meaning of not telling the truth, but rather of like lying down. Yeah, so when you want to get some rest, you lie down in bed or somewhere comfortable. So if you let sleeping dogs lie, you don't wake them up. And the idiomatic meaning of this expression is simply you do not make trouble if you do not have to. Yeah? So if you do not have to bring up some matter or question, just leave it, because if you mention it, if you touch it, it might be dangerous. For example, yeah, you should let sleeping dogs lie and not ask our boss about the dispute. So let sleeping dogs lie. Basically, do not take unnecessary risks if you can avoid it. Okay. See a man about a dog. That's one of my favorite expressions. Basically, whenever you want to leave a room or a place without giving any specific reason why you want to leave or where you're going, you can use this idiom. Yeah? When you want to leave for some unmentioned purpose. For example, you want to go to the washroom, bathroom, restroom, toilet, whatever you call it. For example, I left our table in the restaurant to go and see a man about the dog. So then everyone knows that you have to leave for a moment and no one asks you questions. Oh, where are you going? Okay, so that's it about dogs. Another animal quite closely related to dogs is a wolf. So let's have a look at some expressions with a wolf. The first one here is to keep the wolves at bay. Well, if you keep something at bay, basically you try to keep it as far away from you as possible. So if you keep the wolves at bay, fight against some kind of trouble or danger. For example, many people are angry about the new tax. The government has to work hard to keep the wolves at bay. So the journalists, the public, everyone is angry with the government, and they need to do something to keep them at bay as far as possible, or make them satisfied somehow. So keep the wolves at bay, keep the danger away. A lone wolf, not a wolf from Wall Street, but a lone wolf, I guess we have the same expression in our language. A lone wolf is, of course, someone who prefers to spend time on his own, alone, and has few friends, not many friends, right? For example, the boy was a lone wolf and spent most of his time alone. Probably we all know such people who prefer to spend time on their own. Another one is to throw someone to the wolves. And actually, we have a very similar expression in our language. If you throw someone to the wolves, basically you send someone into danger without any kind of protection. You sacrifice someone. So, for example, the salesman decided to throw his coworker to the wolves when he asked him to meet the angry customer. So, not a nice thing to do, but, well, sometimes it happens. But, yeah, we throw someone to the wolves. Another nice one is to wolf down something. So it's usually used about eating, to gulp something, to eat something quickly. So when you don't have enough time to sit comfortably and enjoy your meal, you just wolf it down. For example, I wolfed down my dinner and left the house for the movie. So I had very little time for the dinner and I was in a hurry. So I just wolfed down my lunch, my dinner, whatever. So it's very nice and useful when you want to say that you have eaten something very, very quickly. Another classic one, a wolf in sheep's clothing. So we have exactly the same one in our language, I guess. And of course, it means a person who pretends to be good, but actually is quite bad. So a wolf in sheep's clothing. Somebody tries to trick you and to convince you that they are not what they are. For example, be careful of that man, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, so that's it about wolves. And now let's move on to the farm. Let's say some expressions with animals that live in the countryside on some farms, like cows and bulls. And the first idiom here that we have is a bull in a china shop. And what's the meaning of China? Well, China spelled with a small letter, not with a capital letter, because capital letter would be a country. But China, what is China? And what do we usually make from China? Any ideas? Anyone? Okay. Teacups, yeah, exactly. This is like very fine, very thin kind of glass, and usually very expensive. And yeah, it feels nice in your hand when you want to have a drink, a nice drink of tea or coffee from a nice china cup. So a bull in a china shop is either a tactless person who upsets others or upsets their plans, or a very clumsy person. Clumsy? Any ideas what the word clumsy means? You can also say that somebody has a kind of awkward, yeah, you have butter fingers. Exactly, yeah. So in Polish, I guess we use a different animal, not a bull, but yeah, this is the meaning. So a very clumsy person who drops things and destroys things, of course, accidentally, not that he wants to, but it just happens, right? So that's a bull in a china shop, either a tactless person or a very clumsy person who just drops things and breaks things accidentally. Okay, for example, the boy is like a bull in a china shop, so you should be careful if you invite him to your house. Okay, then we have to have a cow. Well, it doesn't look like an idiom at all, but the meaning is not to like physically have a cow, because I guess some farmers have plenty of cows, but the meaning is to become very angry and upset about something. For example, our teacher had a cow when nobody prepared for the class. Yes, I will have a cow if you well, stop hearing my voice again. But let's hope it will not happen. So to have a cow, to become very, very angry. Hit the bullseye. I guess we know this idiom. It's one of the classic ones. If you of course don't try to hit the bullseye like literally, because this might be quite dangerous, even for some professional toreadors during corrida. But it simply means to reach or focus on the main point of something. Our manager hit the bullseye when he talked about the problems in the company. You can also use the expression like hit the nail right on the head, but you say something straight to the point. You hit the bullseye. Holy cow! This is expression which we use to express strong feelings of astonishment, pleasure, or anger. So we can say, "Oh, holy cow!" the man said when he saw the car that hit the street lamp. Actually, we have a very similar idiom, a sacred cow, and that's something that you mean, I guess. A sacred cow is a person or thing that is never criticized or changed, even when it should be. Like exactly, cows are sacred in India. So holy cow, yeah, holy and sacred basically mean the same if you check in the dictionary. But a holy cow is just an expression you use to show that you're extremely surprised. But a sacred cow is this thing or a person who is like a saint, yeah, and it's never criticized. That's right. Like the school lunch program is a sacred cow, which they will never change, or some other programs, like governmental programs. Okay, so sacred cow. Another idiom, quite dangerous one, at least it sounds dangerous. Take the bull by the horns. Well, don't try it, like literally, but if you take the bull by the horns, it simply means that you take decisive and direct action. You don't beat about the bush. Yeah? My aunt decided to take the bull by the horns and begin preparations for the family reunion. So you stop being passive, you just start acting, and acting very decisively. You take the bull by the horns. Until the cows come home. So when you imagine living like in the countryside, usually farmers take the cows home from the pasture, from the grazing ground for the night, and this idiom just means that until very late or for a long time, until the cows come home. For example, we can talk until the cows come home this evening. Yeah, so we have no time limit. We don't have to go to bed early. We can talk until the day starts. Yeah, the whole night. So until cows come home. That's it about cows and bulls. Now let's look at some pig, hog idioms. A hog is basically a male pig, right? So the first idiom here we have is buy a pig in a poke. A poke here has the meaning of a kind of a bag or a sack. We have a very similar idiom in our language, but with a different animal. Animal we have discussed already at the very beginning. So if you buy a poke, you buy something without seeing it or knowing anything about it. So something that we actually shouldn't do. So for example, you can buy the used computer, but it will be like buying a pig in a poke if you do not look at it first. So basically, yeah, don't buy any pigs in pokes. Then cast pearls before swine. That's another classic idiom, and we have very similar one, I guess, in our language. So if you cast pearls before swine, well, you waste something on someone who will not be thankful for it, or who will not care about it, who will not appreciate it. Yes, so basically it's just you waste something. For example, giving the jewelry to the woman will be casting pearls before swine. She will not appreciate it at all. Strange sentence, but I guess most women appreciate jewelry, but yeah. Okay. Piggy bank. Well, that's something that we all used to have in our childhood, I believe. So basically, this is like a small bank, small container, usually in the shape of a piggy or some other fancy animal. that we used to put our coins in to save some money. So it's a small bank, a piggy bank. For example, the boy has been putting money into his piggy bank to save for a bicycle. That's a good idea, to save some money. Maybe not in a piggy bank, but yeah, bicycle is a good thing. Make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. First of all, as I have already told you, a hog is a male pig, and a sow is a female pig. Silk is one of the most expensive fabric that man's created. So basically, this idiom means that you're trying to do something impossible. Yeah, like you cannot make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. So yeah, create something of value from something of no value. So something either impossible or very, very difficult. For example, you cannot make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. There's no point in trying to teach that woman manners. So this is just a waste of time. It's impossible. Go hog wild. So as you already know, hog is this male pig. They sometimes become quite violent. And yeah, to go hog wild simply means to behave widely. For example, the soccer fans went hog wild when they arrived in the city for the game. Very typical example, unfortunately. Yeah. Piggyback. It's quite similar to piggy bank, but this is piggyback. So basically, well, if you have small children, you can carry them on your back, on your shoulders. And that's what this expression means. Somebody sitting or is being carried on someone's back or shoulders, or back and shoulders. For example, the boy was riding piggyback on his father's shoulders. So to ride piggyback, that's a very nice expression. Until the children grow big and they are too heavy to ride piggyback without breaking their father's necks. Okay. A road hog. Well, we can use this expression to describe some drivers who, well, take bigger part of the road than they should be. So yeah, a car driver who uses more than his share of the road. And yeah, I guess there's plenty of such drivers. For example, the person in front of me on the highway was a road hog, but I tried not to get angry. Yeah, people can become very aggressive when they are behind the wheel. So a road hog, a careless driver who just takes a bigger share of the road than he should be. And when pigs fly, we know that pigs basically don't fly. So this idiom means, well, that something is not likely to happen, or basically it will never happen. Like, I've never seen a flying pig, maybe in some cartoon, but that's not going to happen. So when you don't believe that somebody will do something or that something will happen, you can say, yeah, when pigs fly. Yeah, that man will start to manage his money better when pigs fly. So basically, never. Okay. Or my friend will be more serious about her job and her life when pigs fly. So not likely to happen, unfortunately. In a pig's eye, this one is kind of similar. Means that something is unlikely or that will never happen. For example, never in a pig's eye will my friend be able to save enough money to go to Mexico for the winter. So notice the inversion here. If we start the sentence with never, then we have to use inversion. So will my friend be able? Not my friend will be able, yeah, because we started with never. So that's a quite tricky sentence, but quite a nice idiom to express that we don't believe something will happen. Go whole hog. Another idiom with hog, with a male pig. So it means to do everything possible or to be extravagant. For example, we went whole hog in our effort to make the convention a success. Yeah? So we did everything that was humanly possible to achieve our goal. Okay, so that's it about pigs and hogs. Now, a rat, well, some people don't like these animals, but some people, on the other hand, keep them as pets at home. And the first idiom with rat is to rat on someone. And that means to report someone's bad behavior to someone. For example, the little boy ratted on his friend at school. Yeah, so probably not a very good thing to do, but some circumstances require such actions. Yeah, so to rat on someone. Another one is quite similar, rat out on someone. So basically we just add, it's called out, and this one means to desert or betray someone. For example, the boy ratted out on his friends. Now they won't talk to him. Yes, like he told the teacher about their secret plan, probably something stupid or dangerous, and now they don't like him because he ratted out on them. So also sometimes quite useful expression. Rat race. That's a classic, and I guess we all know the meaning because we use the direct translation of this expression in our language. So that's a rushed and confusing way of living that does not seem to have a purpose. Like, yeah, life is too fast nowadays, I guess. My uncle is tired of being in the rat race every day. He plans to quit his job soon and do something else. Yeah, like a good plan for retirement would be nice. To smell a rat. That's a very nice idiom. If you smell a rat, well, probably a rat doesn't smell nice. Well, at least not the ones that we keep as pets, but maybe they do. I never smelled a rat, but if you smell a rat, it just means that you are suspicious of someone or something, and you have a suspicion that something might be wrong. Some offer is too good, or there's a somebody's trying to trick you, like, I smell a rat. There is something wrong with the free credit card offer. Yeah, basically nowadays, I guess there are no free credit card offers, so we can forget about them. So if you see one, yeah, you should smell a rat. Something wrong with that. And no more idioms with rats. Now let's move on to sheep and goat expressions. The first one is as meek as a lamb. A lamb, of course, is a small sheep. And the word meek is like quiet, docile, very submissive. Yeah, so you do not protest, you take life as it is. Yeah, like lambs are not very valiant creatures. Yeah, they just seem to accept life as it is. So that's exactly what this means. For example, the secretary was as meek as a lamb when she went to ask her boss for a salary increase. Yeah, so as meek as a lamb. Another classic expression, the black sheep of the family. And I guess we have identical one in our language. So the worst or the most unpopular or disliked member of a family. For example, my cousin is the black sheep of the family and nobody likes to talk about him. Get someone's goat. So if you get someone's goat, you annoy someone, simply. For example, my friend is always complaining about the way that I do things, which gets my goat. So if you say that something gets your goat, it just makes you really angry and annoyed. That's a quite funny one. In 2 shakes of lamb's tail. Yeah, I guess it doesn't take much time for a lamb to shake its tail twice. So it simply means very quickly. I promised that I would meet my friend in 2 shakes of a... Hello, hello! I'm back. There was another problem with the sound, I guess. host now, and I hope that you can hear me perfectly. Okay, great. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're talking about and 2 shakes of lamb's tail. That was the idiom. Okay, get someone's goat. We've been here. Okay, yeah. So very quickly, that's the idiom. Lambs to the slaughter. We go lightly without complaining about the dangers that I had. Like, our football team went like lambs to the slaughter to play against the best football team in the country. Well, sometimes that's life, and we cannot do anything else, just go like lambs to the slaughter. Another one is to separate sheep from the goats, and it's quite simple. It simply means to divide people into 2 groups. For example, we had to separate the sheep from the goats when we began to make selections for the school. Okay, that's it about sheep and goat. And the last animal for today is actually a horse. Very beautiful animal. And the first idiom, to bet on the wrong horse. And, well, if you do that, well, you misread the future. You do not choose the winning person or solution. For example, the man is betting on the wrong horse if he supports the other city in their bid for the Olympic Games. So try not to bet on the wrong horse. Another one is a dark horse. We have a very similar one in our language. This is a candidate who is little known to the general public, but in fact, he might win or has a chance of winning elections or something. Like, the candidate for mayor was a dark horse until he gave some good speeches on TV. So a dark horse. Donkey's ears. So this one's not, well, donkey is almost like a horse. Just has these funny ears. So donkey's years simply means a very, very long time. For example, I was happy to see my friend because I had not seen her in donkey's years. So a very, very long time, donkey's years. Another one is to flog a dead horse. Basically, flog is like to hit with a kind of a whip. When you want to make a horse go faster, you flog him. And if you flog a dead horse, well, what's the point of flogging a dead horse? Basically, it means to continue fighting a battle that has been won, to continue to argue a point that has been settled. So an unnecessary action, yeah, that shouldn't be performed anymore. For example, my friend was forced when she would not stop arguing about the mistake on her paycheck. So to flog a dead horse. Hold one's horses. This is a very useful expression. So if someone wants to do something very quickly without waiting, he's very impatient, we might say, oh, come on, slow down, hold horses. So this one means to wait or to be patient. For example, hold your horses for a moment while I make a phone call. Yeah, so hold your horses. Look a gift horse in the mouth. We have a similar expression in our language. Yeah, when we receive something as a gift, like, we shouldn't like check it thoroughly. We should just accept it and say thank you, right? But this one means to complain if a gift that we get is not perfect. For example, the girl should not look a gift horse in the mouth. She should be happy that she received a present from her friends. Okay. Oh, I have some information that you cannot see the slides. Is it only one person or more people have this problem? I hope that it's quite singular. Let me change the slide. I hope you can see this one. Put the cart before the horse. Well, a cart is something which is pulled or drawn by a horse, so it should be behind the horse, actually. And if you put the cart before the horse, then it's the wrong order, yeah, the wrong way. So if you do things in the wrong order, if you do things the wrong way, you put the cart before the horse. For example, buying a ticket before we make our holiday plans is putting the cart before the horse. So something we shouldn't do, right? Because if you want to be successful, you should do things in the right order. Straight from the horse's mouth. So if you receive some information from the source, yeah, from a reliable source, you can say that it's straight from the horse's mouth, yeah, directly from the person who said something, directly from a dependable source. So probably this information is true. I heard it straight from the horse's mouth that our supervisor will be leaving the company next week. So this is a reliable piece of information. Wild horses could not drag someone away. So to drag is like to pull, right? So there's nothing or no force that can make someone go somewhere or do something. Yeah. So somebody is very stubborn or set their mind on something and they will not do what they are being forced to do. So even wild horses couldn't drag someone away. For example, wild horses could not drag me from my favorite TV show last night. So whatever happens, I want to watch it. I'm addicted. I'm not going anywhere. I need to watch the next episode. Wild horses will not drag me away from the TV. Okay, and to work like a horse. Well, horses are actually quite hard-working animals, so this one is quite simple. If you work like a horse, you work very, very hard, like a horse. For example, my grandfather worked like a horse when he was a young man. Okay, that was the last idiom for tonight. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry about the small technical glitches that we encountered. About like you stopped hearing me for a sec. I hope that you learned some useful expressions tonight, and this will enrich your English, and you will find some situations and contexts to use some of them at least. So once again, thank you very much. Hope to maybe not see you, but talk to you again in the future on some next webinars. So thank you very much. Have a good evening, and bye bye.